Good morning from the Possible Dream Homestead. So I'm going to confess, this is take 2 at an autumn garden tour. I did it a couple of days ago, and at some point I turned my phone on its side and the video was unbearable. So here we go, going to try again. So this is a bit of an overall view. Chookies are up there, extensions waiting to happen, and I will go around the garden. So go down here, make sure I don't fall off the wood chip. Okay. Alright, so these are the bays I've been doing. This is my El Cheapo tomato bed. It was $1 punnet, on the seconds rack. I'm going to say that there are roughly 3 tomatoes that survived out of the punnet. There's one here. There's a struggling one there. Okay, so maybe 2, because that's a geranium. So I did all sorts of things in here. So my usual tomato and basil combination. Basil's done better than the tomatoes. Marigolds. I've got some dill. And oh no, there's another tomato surviving there. I threw some sweet peas in. Some things are definitely doing better than others. This is yet to be planted. It wasn't ready when I put the tomatoes in. Okay, so this is a new one in creation. All compost materials from the house there. 2 layers of newspaper, one underneath, one on top. It's got to have straw on top now. Okay, so the cucumber bay. So the cucumbers are doing all right. I've had some tragedies, as you can see, but I do get to eat quite a few out of here. Note, I say I eat because they don't make them to the house. I eat them before they get there. Some basil struggling too. I planted snake beans. Only a few have survived. But, some's better than none. Never tried them before. I thought this was going to be a butternut pumpkin. I'm not so sure now. Thinking now it's something else. Doesn't look butternut, doesn't quite look tromboncini. It could be anything, to be honest. That came out of the guinea pig poo. Here's one of my cucumbers. That's probably tomorrow's breakfast. And I come down. This is going up here nicely. A couple of little cucumbers on it. Another one laying on the ground here. It's a snake bean. And then the volunteers, I thought they were sunflowers to start off with. They're not. Don't know what they're going to be. Something in the melon or pumpkin family. Geranium. Apparently cucumbers don't like high scented herbs. Not really sure why. Discovered that after I put in the geranium, so let's see what happens. Alright, so the sweet potato bed. Expanding. Over here are the crepe myrtle trees. My dad put them in years ago. They're horrible to mow under, and as you can see on this one, I'll come up closer. You can see how the weeds just love to grow where we can't reach with the mower, and the branches are horrible when you hit them. So this one and this one I've planted sweet potato slips under, and hopefully all that area between those beds will all be sweet potatoes like this, because this needs to change. It needs to become something else. It's in its 2nd year now of sweet potatoes. Okay, this is my mistake. Okay, so this started off really good just here. Cardboard and the soybean stubble as the base. Stupidly, I went and cleaned out the chook pen and threw it on there, forgetting that recently I had given the chooks weeds and it did not give time for the seeds to be killed by the chook manure. So now I have got this horrible running grass, which is just terrible. It goes for like a metre under the ground with its runners and then pops up when it sees daylight. Did, however, score a cherry tomato out of it, which is good considering my dad pulled out all the others. So now we have some. We'll go over here. This was the Hugel cultivar. That was, it was like knee high. It's barely up to my ankle now. Everything's composted down. These butternuts are doing okay in there. They're pretty happy. There's some more over there. My donated sink, I'm still trying to work that out. Trying to fill in this area here to make it square or rectangle, just not with a divot out of it. And then that will be the full extent of the garden. So that's the new sweet potato patch. All of that came from one sweet potato that I planted there, and then I harvested that. That was huge. Alright, so these are my new beds. These were potatoes. I put some olars in. I'm going to put one more in over here. I think I might actually need to put them closer together. It's so hard to tell whether they're working or not because of the amount of rain we've had. Alright, so this is my protective border that I'm attempting. Alright, so in there we have spring onions, geraniums, alyssum, calendulas, salvia, nasturtium, and there's a borage. I always pronounce that wrong. A borage. Up in this section there's a few parsley, just because I had them where I was pulling the spring onions out of. And it's just and some sage. It's just repetitive all the way around. Trying to encourage good bugs, deter bad bugs. So I planted this tomato in here with this frame. It's a mortgage lifter, hoping good things from that. It was $1 special again. This is gorgeous. This is sage. I don't like sage, but this is a pineapple sage, and oh my god, it smells divine. I love it. My dandelions that are on steroids because they're huge, and it seems to be a variety because they are absolutely amazing. I can't get over that Bunnings actually sell dandelions now. $5 each, mind you. Wow, got to get into growing these dandelions. Anyway, this is a Rosella. That was a trade with Little Acres Homestead. Seeing as I didn't pull my finger out and put my seeds in. Alright, so this is a combo bed. Again, adding lots of good companions in there because I have such trouble with my brassicas. As you can see, I'm still got a slug issue. Gonna have to borrow some of hubby's beer and make a beer trap. Normal sage, sweet marjoram, then there's calendulas. That's a capsicum. I got a pepper up here, a chili, watching too many American clips. Okay, this was a capsicum. It is no more. So, but like far better results with this combination than I've had in the past. This is my wandering tromboncini. Just a word of warning for anyone that actually wants to grow tromboncini. I put it in the middle of my garden over there. Huge mistake, 2 plants. They actually go all the way around that whole bed, come out, they're heading down beside those boxes, and it's come along, and now it's coming along here, and it wants to head over into the sweet potatoes. But in permaculture they say grow what grows like a weed. Well, this is growing like a weed, even though I'm not a huge fan of tromboncinis themselves. I can hide them in meals, and yeah, at least it's producing something. Fish didn't like it, which is what I bought it for. So these are just all my seedlings waiting to go out. This will be a seedling nursery, hopefully. Eventually, I gotta sort this out, make this better. It did not support my shade cloth. For those people that follow me, you remember it kind of collapsed. So up in here there's a couple of cucumbers, apple crystal apples. I tried beans along the front of this straw. A few popped up, then they died. I did all right with potatoes out of there underneath the sweet potatoes, but I believe I did things wrong. A lot of things wrong probably, but anyway, so be it. So another bed with combination. This has got a lot more combinations in it. Now, I can't remember which is which because I've got flowers in here, lots of flowers. Okay, so these ones are verbena. Here we go. And then the other ones are salvia. Over there, that little red flower is salvia. I've got a few of them. They're all very pretty. Encourage the bees. All right. In here I've also got coriander because I threw the seeds and they came up. With the sage, the dill, just all the combinations. It seems to be working. I can watch the cabbage moths come in and then touch the dill and they go. So I've got, this was my mixed patch. I got the beans that are almost ready to harvest for seeds there. Might have just broke a marigold, that's a shame. Yeah, so in there's a mix still. The seeds I threw in, I already harvested out the radishes and stuff. This is the Egyptian spinach, love it. It's absolutely gorgeous, it's a winner. We'll be constantly growing that. But these are the seed pots, look at that. So my bestie, she opened up one of these. It's got like hundreds of seeds in it. Incredible. So what I've done is I've put a couple of bug exclusion bags over some of the pods so I can let the plant grow as long as possible but still at least capture some of the seeds. And I'm okay if the rest just volunteer because I've had a few of them volunteer around the place and it's awesome. Okay, so up here I've got 3 zucchinis in there with the mixing and matching. That's a capsicum. You can see Egyptian spinach, nasturtiums. I'm not sure, but I might have made my own colour and just make it out there. It was prettier a couple of days ago. I took a photo of it. And then this spinach, geraniums, all sorts of things happening. Planted these this morning. This is a Gold Rush zucchini and perpetual spinach. Some parsley that came up. Little Acres Homestead gave me a whole heap of strawberry seedlings. That's the only one that survived, to my shame. Alright, so as you can see, Tromboncini's having a ball, thinking this is the best thing out. There's the new seedlings that I may or may not have gone to Bunnings and got. Alright, so we're coming in through here. I got jalapeno chili. That was a trade with a lovely local lady. Alright, my zucchinis. This is the second round. My big one was here. It died. I've just put in this bell capsicum. Well, I call them bell capsicums. Apparently the name is Mad Hatter. I love them. I don't know why. They're small, they're tedious, but I love them. This is more pineapple sage. Now in there we've got all different sorts of things from leeks to there were potatoes underneath. I've pulled them out. I've got spring onions happening. Now these on the vines, they're jicama. I keep calling them jicama, but they're not, they're jicama. The pods are starting to brown, so apparently I'll be able to harvest them soon. It's my first go at them, and they're a potato substitute. A couple of capsicums, Thai basil, comfrey. That's another Mad Hatter capsicum that I've just planted. Some spinach, lots of comfrey, which is taking off, which is awesome. I need lots of that. The tromboncini, and there is actually one zucchini there. The Thai basil. And look down here, this is more tromboncini coming out here. See, they throw them out everywhere. There's another one in there that's due to be picked. And the thing is too, you can see where the bugs have been trying to sting it, but they actually don't get inside past that skin. It's incredible. These are my leeks. Don't know what's happening with that leek. Looks all very interesting. This is one I've already harvested and it's re-sprouted, regrown, whatever you want to call it. So the nasturtiums, dill and sage I planted in here amongst the silver beet because they were being absolutely decimated. Slowly improving with the bugs. Well, let's say caterpillars. I was improving with the caterpillars, then I got hit with the slugs. So it's been fun. You can see they've been doing this. I've lost a lot of them. The rainbow chard just didn't make it. I had like 5 in there. They didn't make it. They couldn't handle it. This is Ford Hook Giant. It's actually survived all pretty well. Hopefully we'll regrow. Just do a turnaround. So that's the back. Let's see. That's the back of the sweet potato bed that comes onto the original bed that was a pain in my backside. Never quite worked properly. So I've been letting it go to sweet potatoes. You can see, let's see if I can show you. My pathetic cabbages in there. Looks like broccoli bolting. There's a comfrey in there that I pulled out and I'm obviously missed some. You can see I'm just letting the sweet potatoes and butternut take over as well. Got comfrey. I'm slowly removing the stuff. Like there's still a spring onion in there that I need to pull out. Transplant. Some more spring onions and silver beet that need to come out. I lost a lot of things in here. There has been some garlic reshooting, more spring onions to come out. There's comfrey. Alright, I'll continue on in there in a minute because there's a couple of bits and pieces. Alright, so coming onto the back of these beds. Still again, tromboncini, just everywhere. It's insane. Now this is a cabbage that I lost the wall with the bugs and I thought, well, I'll just let it go to flower and I'll grab the seed off it. Well, it never went to flower. It keeps throwing these out and they're like little babies off the stem. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm still letting it go and letting it do its thing. You can see I've lost silver beet in here. Cabbage that's been decimated again. I have to bring over this area. I now still need to incorporate more of the companion plants. This is my black velvet nasturtium, and as you can see, it's done quite well, dropping seeds all through there. Geranium, pyrethrum, tromboncini coming through there. More Egyptian spinach that actually volunteered. My comfrey. Alright, so the tromboncini. Okay, I've got silver beet and stuff that survived in here. This combination seemed to work. So I've got the silver beet in the middle, and then on either side I planted rows of spring onions. This side is parsley, and the other side is Thai basil. Okay, that seemed to work. Like, it has had bug issues, but nothing like the rest of the garden. And if I could show you one, no, I can't find one at the moment. There was one just here that did die somewhere. Yeah, so there's comfrey, more of my nasturtiums that I'm trying to get grow. Okay, come up here. We've got a volunteer white icicle radish. Spring onions and stuff I've thrown in. More Thai basil. Okay, this is burdock. Apparently this is really good for us ladies to dry and have as a tea. I've got 3 of them. I apparently can harvest now, but I don't want to. They're biennial. So if I let them grow and go to seed and that, they will continue to be here without any effort from me, which is really good. But yeah, like you can see, this one here is doing extremely well. These 2, not so much. All planted at the same time, but it happens. This is me just spreading the seed of parsley. I don't know what that is. To be totally honest, it could be a weed. I could have planted it, not sure. More parsley, basil that hasn't liked the wet weather. That's a tomato, a beefsteak. You can see I've put a bug exclusion bag on it. More pyrethrum, tromboncini. Okay, in here are a couple of cuttings. This one is chocolate mint from Little Acres Homestead. We can't remember what the other one was, but that's okay. I got more pyrethrum at the end with my snow peas on the trellis. They're really good. Haven't had enough yet to get to the house with them because I've been eating them. More parsley and a leek. And there's some garlic in here too somewhere, if it hasn't rotted because so much rain, everything's been rotting like that. My first calendulas. I'm so happy. So they're a pretty orange. Lots of parsley where I just spread it around. That one looks like garlic. More calendulas, sage, parsley. So we come on to more of my tomatoes at the end here. So I've put bug exclusion bags on because I've been getting this big brown caterpillar. He thinks my tomatoes are great. See, he's done that there. I've also put one on my cucumber because I had him devouring my cucumbers too. And I want to eat them, not him. So coming up here, no, this is the size that my beef steaks have been getting to. Absolutely huge. And then the bugger gets in and eats them. Hopefully he won't this time. As you can see, these snow peas are really good. They're Mammoth, I think they were, the variety. Alright, so this is my terrible old cold compost area. It is a fail. Comfrey likes this one because this one was actually a hot compost. It grew grass and stuff. It was pretty happy. I'm probably going to pull the grass out and maybe hot compost it again. Alright, so coming into the bad garden, the original garden. You can see I've had a few mishaps with my butternuts. Okay, so bugs got in there. I just left them to compost down. I've lost about 4, harvested about 5, so not too bad. Yeah, marigolds have been stoked. Comfrey's coming along. I do have a, what's this one? This one's a mortgage lifter as well. I planted that recently. These are all just been volunteers in here. Same with the basil. Basil actually was cuttings that I took and planted in here. Thought it can't hurt to have them go. Those basil have just been doing amazing. I've got olas all in here, but like I said, with the rain, the quantity of rain that we've had, I've got no idea whether they actually do help or not, but they're in there, prepared for when it comes dry again, because it will. So this is a huge basil. And another comfrey down there. This is like 1.5 years old. I think it was broccoli. I don't know, but I left it as a sacrificial lamb for the bugs. Now the butternut actually starts out there on the outside of the fence, comes all the way through here, and you can see the vines going that way. So I got a rarity is a couple of really small cabbages that I'm going to harvest because they won't get any bigger without the bugs eating them. I've got a little red one in there somewhere, which is my first. So this silver beet's done really well here. What's it got around it? It's got spring onions, it's got a sweet potato and marigold and lettuce that tasted horrible. Interesting. So that worked. So maybe this spring onion thing with my silver beet is the way to go. Because there's, what, 6 spring onions there around that one silver beet? And I mean, this has been pure neglect. Nothing happens down here. I didn't even put garlic spray down here. I just let it go for it. So maybe this lettuce was volunteers from last year. I don't know why, but it was bitter when I tried the the volunteers, they were bitter. So I just let them go. Got way more of the wild cotton for the wanderer butterflies. Some more of my giant dandelions, lots of weeds. But yeah, just letting this garden do its thing. As you can see, that's one of the crepe myrtles that's got sweet potato slips under it. You can't really see the slips, but you can see how I've mulched it all, and it looks way better than all the weeds that are growing back underneath that one. Alright, so let's go for a wander up here. I think all I've got left now is the Hugo cultivars that I've been doing. I think I covered everything else. I've been throwing nasturtium seeds from my original ones all around the garden. Hardly any of them came up, but underneath here in the wood tube, nasturtium seeds thought that was great. They came up really well, so I've just been pulling them up and transplanting them. So I've discovered basically that if there's herbs that I don't like, the bugs don't like them, because I don't like sage, I don't like fennel, I don't like dill, I don't like Thai basil, so I discovered. And neither do the bugs apparently, but I will continue to grow them to kill the bugs. Alright, so these are my Hugo cultivars as a fashion. Basically it's better than having a great big fire pit again. So yeah, it's just got cardboard underneath, palm fronds, farmers friends, you name it, goes in there. Another layer of newspaper on top. And then this one, it got, as you can see, the soybean stubble on it. Some things did okay, some things are holding on, some things went nah. Like, I even lost 2 comfrey plants in here, which surprised me. I thought they'd continue to go on, but they didn't. Butternut here has struggled. I lost a choco. This tree here thinks it's fantastic. I don't know what it is. Little white flowers all over it. This has doubled in size since I added this here. I'll come around here so you can see where the edge of the garden is. All right, so you can see I added on from here. This garden was existing. All ornamentals in there. And from where those old, I guess they're palm trees, I think they were, I've just extended this way. Right. This tree, this little guy here, its stem is in there, it was half that size. And since I did this, the Hugo cultivar thing, it's just taken off. This is Djibouti Kaba. It's holding on. It doesn't look any worse in the ground than what it did in the pot. Can't say it looks any better, but it's alive, which is a bonus. Considering it likes more rainforest than what I have. Aloe vera thinks it's great. So this one here was when we mowed, I threw all the grass clippings on. These vines are literally, there's a couple of watermelons or rock melons there. I was feeding the chickens again and just scattered it, just threw it. It was all old seed that I wanted to get rid of, wasn't keeping anymore. I didn't label it, didn't know what I was doing. And so I just threw it in here. It is loving it. So this one was mainly palm fronds with the grass on top. There is other small amount of compostables in here, but not much. It will hold a lot of water in this bed, which the pumpkins will like. I spotted one before. I think they're actually going to be grammars, these. There's a little baby under there. Looks kind of grammarish. And you can see where in the next section, there's more farmers friends. As the vines are going over, like I've got to go and do that section. But over here, you can see there were weeds starting to pop up here. So I got newspaper and just put straw on it and then laid newspaper or cardboard just like that. And then laid straw on top just to cover those weeds that were re-sprouting. I'll continue up there in a minute, I just want to show you this. Okay, the Lakers Homestead gave me this raspberry. Thought it was doing terrible. I haven't seen any fruit off it yet. But I just did notice, Look at all the new growth coming out from around it. I'm pretty stoked. I thought it was actually going to die. I was starting to wonder whether it needed to be out in the sun more. Okay, so as you can see here with the straw, we had another section, the weeds were coming up. And I mean, and it's just got everything. Just because that's what my dad throws in there. But anyway, I want to utilise it instead of just burning it. So here where it's growing, the Farmers Friends that are growing, I'll come through with more newspaper and straw and just cover them up. Then lay the vines back on top. Trying to see if there's any more growing in there. Seeing as I've actually got boots on, I can walk through here. But no, I can't see any more. And this is all the stuff we've added in the last month. For some reason, my dad does not believe that trees drop their leaves to mulch the ground to feed themselves. Which, admittedly, you know, I've probably learnt it recently. I mean, sort of got the idea from living in the rainforest. But yeah, so frangipanis are going to be a bit hungry this year because it's all there. Anyway, in the world we live. Alrighty. Oh, I should have gone back under there. I keep forgetting in this garden because it's like the most shadiest spot that there is on the whole property. And during summer, that's like huge. And I bought these. I bought taro. It's my soil bacteria hiding in there. I bought taro. I keep forgetting that I bought taro. And luckily, it doesn't mind the neglect too much, especially when it has a water dish and stuff. But yeah, they're my taro plants. I bought them about a month or so ago and forgot they were here. Whee! All right. Okay, well that's it. You enjoy your day gardening. Bye.